It is December 29th. We are transitioning from this year, 2024, into the next year, 2025. When I was in school, one of my favorite professors was Reverend Robert Brummett, and he wrote a book that is still a Unity classic. It's called Finding Yourself in Transition. And that's where we are right now. We are in transition from what was to what could be. And it is a precious and fruitful time to be focused and stay the course. In his book, he uses an analogy of a trapeze artist. To get from one bar on the trapeze to the other, they have to go through what he calls the void, where they release the first bar and fly through the air. If they lose focus, if they lose their attention or get distracted, they can tumble to the ground. But if they stay focused and see and set their sights on where they're going, they can catch the next bar. You see, I know a little bit about this. About 15 years ago, while I was still living in Manhattan, so maybe 17 years ago now, I studied to become a trapeze instructor. And I learned how to get people from one bar to the other. In fact, I'm going to tell a story of my husband right now. In my last day of training for trapeze school, we got to invite a guest to come fly on the trapeze for free. And so JD said, yeah, I'd love to come. And he came to the trapeze on the west side of Manhattan, and there's a platform about 40 feet up in the air. And he climbed up to the top of the platform, and he stood there, and you have to hold on to this cable with one hand, and then you hold on to the trapeze bar with the other. And there he was, stuck between there. He would not let go of the cable. And he stood there frozen for it seemed like forever. The leader of the school said, you need to go up to the platform and get him down, because he was petrified. So I climbed up this ladder to the 40-foot platform, and as I peered over the top, he saw my face and said, this won't help. And I laughed and said, you're going to have to trust me on this. And I took my hand and put it in the support belt he was wearing, and then held on to the cable and said, you feel me pulling on you here? I've got you. And the only way down is forward. So with my coaching, he was able to let go, put both hands on the bar, and leap out. He swung back and forth a couple times on the trapeze, and then finally let go of the bar and fell into the safety net. He never went back up on the trapeze, but he learned a really important lesson that day. A, how to trust, but he also learned what it meant to be paralyzed by fear. And how many of us have gotten stuck in so many places in our life where we don't take any forward action, where we're stuck in fear of making the wrong step or making a mistake that we can't correct. So trapeze is a great analogy for me. It is something that helps us bridge these transitions. So I ask you to think about where you are, what happened in your life this past year, and what you want to have happen in 2025. When we can stay focused, when we can keep ourselves together and our eyes on where it is we want to go, we can make that leap from one bar to the next and sail through the air with the greatest of ease. So this holiday season, I invite you to embrace the void, that space in between what was and what could be, and trust. With faith and hope and purpose, we can create a magnificent 2025.